Hello, friends. Sony began in the make of World War II. In 1946, Masuru Abuka started an electronic shop in Cherokee, a department store building in the Nihonbashi area of Tokyo. The company started with a capital of 190.000 and a total of 8 employees. On 7th May 1946, Abuka was joined by Akio Morita to establish a company called Tokyo Tsushin Wagoyo Telecommunications Engineering Corporation. The company built Japanese first tape recorder called the Tape G. In 1958, the company changed its name to Sony. Named Tokyo Tsushin Wagoyo founders Morita and Abuka realized that to achieve success and grow their business had to expand to the global market, which required labeling their product with a short and easy brand name. While looking for a Romanized name, they at first strongly considered using their initial TTK. The primary reason they did not is that the railway company Tokyo Ayuko was known as TTK. The company occasionally used the acronym Totsuko in Japan, but during his visit to the United States, Morita discovered that Americans had trouble pronouncing that name. Another early name that was tried out for a while was Tokyo Teletouch until Akuyo Morita discovered that there was an American company already using Teletouch as a brand name. The name Sony was chosen for the brand as a mix of two words. One was the Latin word sonus, which is the root of sonic sound, and the other was Sony, a common slang term used in 1950s America to, a, to call a young boy. In 1950s Japan, Sony boy was a lone lord in Japanese, which connected smart and presentable young man, which Akoyo Morita and Masaroko Abuka considered themselves to be. The first Sony branded product, the TR-22 transistor radio, appeared in 1955, but the company name did not change to Sony until January 1958. At the time of the change, it was extremely usual of a Japanese company to use Roman letters to spell its name instead of writing it in kanji. The move was not without opposition. TTK's principal bank at the time, Mitsui, had strong feeling about the name. They pushed for a name such as Sony Electronic Industries or Sony Teletech. Ekoyo Morita was firm. However, as he did not want the company name tied to any particular industry, eventually both Abuka and Mitsui Bank's chairman gave their approval. Globalization, according to Sheffer, Sony's TR-63 radio cracked open the US market and launched the new industry of consumer microelectronic. By the mid 1950s, America teens had begun buying portable transistor radio in huge numbers. In 1917, Masuro Abuka handed the position of president over to his co-founder Akoyo Morita. Sony began a life insurance company in 1979. One of its many peripheral business amid a global recession in the early 1980s. Around that time, Norio Oga took up the role of president. He encouraged the development of the compact disc CD in the 1970s. Despite some success, the company faced continuous struggles in the mid to late 2000s. In 2012, Kazuko Hirari was promoted to president and CEO, replacing Stringer. Shortly thereafter, Hirai outlined his company wide initiative named One Sony to revive Sony from years of financial losses. management structure which provide difficult for former CEO Stringer to accomplish, partly due to difference in business culture and native languages between Stringer and some of Sony Japanese division. Hirari outlined three major areas of focus for Sony's electronics business, which include imagining technology, gaming, and mobile technology, as well as a focus on reducing the major losses from the television business. In February 2014, Sony announced the sale of its Veo PC division to a new corporation owned by investment fund Japan Industrial Partners and spinning its TV division into its own corporation as to make it more able to run the unit around from past losses totally 7.8 billion over a decade. Later that month, they announced that they would be closing 20 stores. In April, the company announced that they would be selling 9.5 million shares in Square Enix. In a deal worth approximately 48 million in May 2014, the company announced it was forming two joint ventures to manufacture and market Sony PlayStation game consoles and associated software in China. In 2015, Sony purchased Toshiba Images senior business. It was reported in December 2016 by multiple news outlets that Sony was considered restructuring its US operating by merging its TV and film business Sony Pictures Entertaining with its gaming business Sony Interactive Entertainment. According to the report, such a restructured